Okay, very good. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Beckering, I'd like to come to you. 2006, there's an article where you were quoted as saying that the role of the courts is to remain nonpartisan, your term. However, you also went on to say that the courts also have a role in protecting the minority against the majority when they have overstepped their bounds on civil rights and on constitutional rights. So what did you mean by that, and how do you decide who the minority is in a situation? Isn't that really a stone's throw away from politicizing and putting partisanship on the bench?
Senator, the comments that I was directing at the time that I ran for the Michigan Supreme Court was a campaign of the requirement that the judiciary always remain fair and impartial. The comment that I made about protecting the minority from the majority was an effort to talk about the Constitution and that it is the job of judges to uphold the law. And the only time they overturn the law is when it conflicts, for example, with other precedent that is higher, and that includes the Constitution. That is the design of our Constitution in America.
Okay, the same article, you said you wanted to apply a common sense interpretation of the language of the statute or law if you were elected to the Supreme Court. However, you criticized the then sitting Supreme Court in Michigan for taking a very liberal interpretation of the language. So how would you describe your judicial philosophy now? How has that evolved for you?
At the time I made those comments, I was speaking from my view as an advocate, and I was analyzing it from that perspective. The goal that I wanted is that...
Did you intend to take that advocacy to the bench?
No, I've been a sitting judge for the past 14 years, and so I applied the law.
Would you describe yourself as an originalist or a textualist? What is your philosophy?
I would describe myself as someone who very seriously takes my oath to fairly and impartially apply the law, and as Chief Justice John Roberts has said, to have the same strike zone for every party that comes before me to make court a level playing field.
Now, you have a history of donating to Democrat candidates exclusively. You were a max-out donor to President Biden's presidential campaign. You were also the Michigan Democratic Party's nominee for the Michigan Supreme Court. So as a judge, it is your responsibility to fairly administer the law regardless of your own political or social views. So how are the American people to be assured that you are going to separate your political and your judicial views?
Senator, I am bound by the Michigan Code of Judicial Conduct, and Canon 7 explicitly provides the ability for judges to make contributions to political campaigns. Advisory opinion.
No conflict.
Advisory opinion 60 from the Judicial Tenure Commission has expressly stated that it is not an appearance of impropriety. And if I were nominated, I would follow the law.
Let me move on to Mr. Cantor. First of all, thank you for your time. Appreciate that. And we talked about where the DOJ starts, the FTC starts, the separation, the responsibilities that are there when it comes in the antitrust space. And but I've got a couple of questions for you on that. My time's going to run out. Talk to me. You have criticized the consumer welfare standard, and I want you to briefly walk through that, describe your thoughts on that standard and how it is applied to technology platforms. And as you know, the chairman and I each are working on issues of accountability in the tech space.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. So antitrust laws have to address market realities, and market realities have shifted in dramatic ways just over the last 20 or 30 years. And the kinds of harm that can be inflicted on society as a result of concentrations of power has also changed. And those harms can embody privacy, can involve the marketplace of ideas and the distribution of information, political discourse. And so to be effective, the antitrust laws, in my view, should be enforced in a manner that adapts to those market realities.
Okay. I've got a couple more questions. I will submit those to you for a written response. And thank you all for being here today. Thanks,
you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Blackburn. And when you were gone, I